How's it going, fellas? As you have seen in my last 45 videos that I uploaded yesterday, the Switch 2 and Nintendo as a whole are absolutely failing. The Switch 2 has been an unprecedented disaster for the dying company, but I can't say I'm surprised. We all saw this coming. Well, anyone with a brain and functioning eyesight saw it coming. After the Switch 1's massive success, they have decided to completely ruin their golden goose, and the numbers are reflecting that. Now I know what the comments are going to say already. The Switch 2 is the fastest selling console. They've been yelling that ever since that false claim dropped. But the truth is, Nintendo is lying to you, and the Switch 2 is actually selling so bad that Doug Bowser was fired from the company and had to pick up chain smoking. The Switch 2 white knights love toting around things like actual sales numbers and genuine evidence, but these things are simply not trustworthy. I mean, look at the company's own graphs. They want you to think that the line is going up, but this isn't true. This is an illegal and evil trick, because you'll see if you turn the graph like this, the line is actually going down. This isn't the only false narrative the company has put out, though. They lied to their investors, saying that the console has sold 17.37 million units. Now, if this number was true, this would still be awful, since it sold less than the Switch 1's total units in its 9 years of life. But actually, if you look closely, you can see that Nintendo falsified this number and photoshopped the data. They secretly, and illegally mind you, removed the negative symbol from in front of the units sold. The Switch 2 did not sell 17.37 million units. It sold negative 17.37 million. But of course, they don't want you to know that. On launch day, Nintendo paid millions of people to stand outside of stores in lines to create false demand. They put up sold out posters to mislead consumers. And the evidence for this is obvious. I didn't buy the console, and the people I surround myself with who also hate Nintendo didn't buy the console. So naturally, that means the entire world didn't. Go to your local Target and look if they have Switch 2s in stock. Chances are they have dozens of them. The fanboys would want you to think that this is because they stocked them well, but this is another lie from the mouths of corporate shills. The boxes on the shelves will never sell because they were never meant to be sold. They are fakes, a psychological trick to make you think that Nintendo is relevant when they really aren't. In fact, Nintendo is so irrelevant in the modern day that I only talk about them 482 times a day instead of my usual 483. And to regular people, it isn't a surprise they're tricking consumers, because Nintendo is the most evil company in the entire world. They beat their employees and have gone on record saying that they hate puppies and eat children. And what's even worse than children dying is the miserable game output for this console. Mario Kart World is by far the worst game ever. I can't believe they would charge any amount of money for this garbage slop. This game is so bad that when I tried it on someone else's Switch 2, I fell out of my chair, hit my head on the floor, and sobbed for 18 hours. It also doesn't have paid DLC yet, which I want for some reason, even though I hate the game and think it costs too much. Then there's Donkey Kong Bonanza, which, of course, is horrible. It is a 3D platformer in it with a monkey instead of the Italian guy with the red hat. Sure, it was made by the same team, and was nominated for Game of the Year, and received wide praise from everyone who played it. And I really want to play it, but won't because I've made an unsustainable career based off of hating a video game company. But actually, it sucks because I saw one random guy on Twitter I will never talk to in my life say that one mechanic was a little underbaked. It also has a story that makes no sense. Donkey Kong and Pauline are trying to get to the center of the planet, but there is no center of the planet. The Earth is flat. People were really singing the praises of Kirby Air Riders 2, but I will not talk about that game because it's universally loved and it makes my points invalid. Welcome Tour is another disaster. A gritty war documentary about famine and bloodlust was definitely not something the console should have launched with, and its depictions of the JFK assassination are tone-deaf and offensive. Pokemon Legend ZA was another dramatic low for the franchise. This game is written horribly, and there isn't any voice acting to read out to me the dialogue that I just skip anyway and then complain about the quality of. Nintendo should be ashamed of this slop. These graphics are only alright, and the beautiful story that expands on the Pokemon lore is stupid because I didn't actually engage with it and just mashed buttons until the credits. Credits, of course, accompanied by beautiful music that I didn't listen to because I played with the sound off while watching Instagram Reels. Game Freak needs to stop rushing all of their games. On an unrelated note, Winds and Waves is bad because it's coming out next year and not this year. And most recently of all, of course, there's Pokopia, which is a baffling failure that I'm surprised was even greenlit. I mean, another live service hero shooter? How many of these do we really need? And it is stupid too because it released on a game keycard. I buy all my games physically so I actually own them. You can tell by how I have a massive library of digital-only Steam games on that better digital-only platform that is digital and only digital. None of these games are system sellers. Definitely not up to the likes of Wolverine, which will push PS5 consoles by being a big exclusive title 6 years after the fucking console released. It is not shocking at all that Nintendo stock prices have crashed and burned, which I care about for some reason despite not being an investor and not knowing anything about the economy. This will naturally make playing the games invalid, because we all know that the only thing that matters in this artistic medium is mass marketability and the effect on share prices. And the releases for this upcoming year, not likely to move the needle. Tomodachi Life is not good because it isn't 3D Mario, and Yoshi is the worst because it isn't 3D Mario, and Rhythm Heaven will fail dramatically because it isn't the next big Zelda title, which I wouldn't play anyway because I only play 3D Mario. And if you bring up that the console and games are doing well in Japan, that doesn't really count, because Japan is actually not real. I have never been there. It can't exist. Nintendo faked it just like they did the moon landing. and 9/11. It is so clear why everyone is selling the Switch 2 to go fuck itself, and are instead buying $900 PC handhelds that take the will of God to get a game running at 14 FPS. And these handhelds can play Switch 2 games in like 10 years when the system is cracked. And they'll probably run like shit. We should do everything we can to stop the Switch 2 from selling even a single unit. If you see someone with a Switch 2 in an airport, yell that they have a bomb. That way they can't get on the plane and expose the masses to Donkey Kong. If your child asks for one for Christmas, scream at them and tell them to instead play on their Frankenstein's monster-looking Android emulation device thing that can't even run Yoshi's Island correctly. This is the optimal way of playing games. A guy on YouTube told me so. Nintendo is a plague, and the Switch 2 is the worst thing to ever take place in the history of our world, and nothing comes even close. This should worry you because if it sells well, we will all be forced into labor camps with only chalk to eat for the rest of our lives. But it also isn't selling well, so there's nothing to worry about, because it isn't selling at all and all the positive numbers are tricks and lies, but it is selling, and that should make you angry, and people are defending the games on it. Games that I hate even though I've never played them, but also nobody is enjoying them because they are bad, and nobody is buying the Switch 2 because it sucks? Fuck Miyamoto!